Hey there, it's Elisa, the Half Asian Tarot Queen, and I fell off the map a little bit this week with the readings. It's funny because in the middle of all this, my friend Colin, who is the proprietor of a local vegan food establishment here in Minneapolis, or it's actually in St. Paul, called Eureka Vegan Compass Food, and he gave me the shirt in the middle of all of this, which seemed very apropos. So he invited me actually. So we've got the Two of Swords and, the Two of Wands and the Ace of Swords. So, a truth being told and a decision being made. Anyways, Colin invited me to do tarot readings at Eureka Compass Vegan Food for New Year's Eve this year, and which I was totally planning on doing, but it kind of remains to be seen at this point because of this falling tower moment, which I'm currently in the middle of. I'm not even sure if I'm going to actually live here then. So I will keep you posted on that. But if I'm here, I would love to do this event. So on that note, I'm going to keep going with the reading. Like I said, I missed a bunch of readings this week, but I'm just kind of going to jump in where I'm at. And since it's the weekend, I'm going to do a weekend love reading. And we'll go from there. I did a daily read for Saturday, and there was definitely a love element in it, but it was definitely kind of furthering this unfolding story in our storytelling of, this phoenix that's risen from the ashes and like starting to build a new empire, a dynasty. Like this is an emerging theme. And I've mentioned this in several videos, but because I'm doing this more as a hobby and also just for my own personal benefit, like I'm not doing personal readings. This isn't, a regular reader channel, and so I'm arranging the readings that I am doing and organizing them by storylines so that you can look at them that way. The readings are all going to be timeless. They're going to be organized according to storylines, and I did a video on the main page sort of explaining the system and how it's working because, as I mentioned, I've got some other priorities, I guess you could say, in life, and so I might not always be super regular. I'm going to, I definitely want to engage the community and be part of all of that, but, also I'll be as consistent as I can. And I explained this in the first video, but, not always, not always consistent as you've probably seen this week. Okay, so just to start out, I'm just going to do overall energies, and I'm using this Radiant Wise Spirit Tarot, and so we're going to do, the two energies of the people involved in the relationship, and then one for the actual energy of the relationship itself. So on one side, we have the Six of Wands. So this is someone who's kind of like triumphant, victorious, kind of been through a battle, come back home, to the ticker tape parade. And so that's one person. And then we have this King of Swords. So this could be an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. But also just someone who's just, in their power, like cut through all the BS, and just no nonsense, getting her done, and just, also a king energy. So in his power, and not necessarily cold. Well, you could say cold, but not operating from necessarily like the emotional realm, this is more logical. And then the overall card for the energy is Strength. So this kind of implies like overcoming some sort of obstacle, is happening, or, you know, speaking to the strength of the relationship between these two parties. But they're coming through strong right now, whoever these people are. I'm gonna pull out my new black and white deck, Bianco Nero, which I really like this deck. And, you know, as I mentioned, it's like kind of a falling tower moment. And so, like, I'm appreciating the clarity of this black and white deck, and it's speaking to me at the moment. So I'm really digging it. So I'm gonna pull some cards just to get some sort of general messages for the reading, and what's gonna happen with, ooh, so this just popped out, the Judgment card. So obviously we're at some sort of judgment point with this relationship. So perhaps, ooh, and then the Hierophant at the bottom of the deck. So it looks like we're at some sort of turning or decision point with this relationship. Like perhaps with the Hierophant, it's at a point where we're maybe contemplating taking things to the next level. We'll see how things go. Temperance. So this just popped out as well. So that could, you know, imply that perhaps there's been some sort of tumultuous past, but we've reached a point of like peace and clarity, and yeah, like I kind of get the sense from these cards that something's about to, some dynamic within this relationship is about to shift. So let's see if we can get some insight about where it's headed. So I'm going to pull 3 cards for one party. Then I'm going to pull 3 cards for the other party. And I'm going to pull 3 cards for the relationship. All right. Okay. So, interesting. Wow. Okay. This seems fitting. Okay, so this person is, you know, coming through strong, triumphant. This person has obviously overcome some sort of obstacle and is now kind of being celebrated. So the general energies we have for this person is the Ten of Pentacles. So this is someone who's, you know, abundant and, you know, has kind of built a really strong foundation, and they're very stable. And we have the Wheel of Fortune, and we have the Knight of Cups. So it's interesting because it's almost like this person, and this is interesting too, because this kind of really goes along with yesterday's reading, which you could go back and look, and it's called Working Class Hero, and it's like, you know, kind of furthering this thread that's been going on the channel called Phoenix, about someone who's like risen from the ashes just by like working, and then finally this opening comes, and they sort of step into their abundance, and then in doing that, like this big shift happens. And yeah, in the reading yesterday, this person, like, once they were able to establish this foundation of stability in their life, their counterpart just magically appeared. So it's interesting because it looks like this person is getting a message of love coming in. So that's interesting. So yeah, I would maybe look at yesterday's reading if this resonates with you, because there might be something in there. So, okay, so then the other side, this King of Swords. So this is someone who's like no nonsense, just cutting away layers of BS and stuff that's not serving him. And we have the Devil, the Star, and the Six of Pentacles. So this is interesting because the Six of Pentacles is a card of giving and receiving, and so oftentimes it can imply, you know, a situation where there's been sort of an imbalance, where like maybe one person is giving more than another, and you know, this is creating some sort of instability, but this person also has the Devil card. So this kind of implies that maybe there's a toxic situation that's at the root of this imbalance that needs to be cleared up, you know, like needs to be cut through so that this person can have their, you know, their wishes fulfilled. So that's interesting. Not only that, because the relationship, as I mentioned, the card for the relationship is implying that there's some sort of obstacle that needs to be overcome with this relationship. So let me see if I can get some more insight on the general energies of this. Interesting. So we have the Queen of Cups. This is a really, you know, loving queen. The Eight of Pentacles. So this is implying, you know, working hard towards something to try to get some sort of, you know, outcome. But there's a dedicated effort that's being put forth here. And then we have the Eight of Swords, which this implies, you know, kind of being trapped in your own mind. And, you know, there's like actually a path forward out of this, but you're not seeing it because you're sort of riddled with anxiety and you're not really open to like what the solution is necessarily. So it's interesting because it's almost like there's these two players. There's this like Queen of Cups, this you know, this sweet, loving, you know, feminine energy, and then there's this hardworking, like masculine energy that's like working towards some outcome, but there's like a blockage here because they're not really seeing a path forward, you know, because they're kind of overcome with some sort of anxiety. So, you know, perhaps this has to do with the situation that needs to be overcome in order to, you know, manifest this relationship in the world. So I'm going to pull 3 cards of guidance to see if we can get some more insight about that. One for each person and one for the relationship. Yeah. But it does seem like there might be some future potential here, but it doesn't seem like these people are together right now. So there was 2 cards that just flipped out. Interesting. On one of the parties. So it's not how I usually do it, but you know, that's, oh, I just had 2 more cards flip out. Okay. All right. So we have this Triumph person who's, you know, built their solid foundation, and now there's like a turning point. And so this person seems to be receiving a message of love. And for this, we have the Queen of Pentacles. So this is a nurturing, loving, stable, feminine energy. It can often signify like a businesswoman. So, you know, perhaps this has to do with the triumph that this person is currently, you know, experiencing. So it seems like for this person, the advice is to just, you know, keep focusing on your foundation and laying down a solid foundation. And that's probably the best channel for your energy at this moment. And then it's interesting. So on this side, we have this no-nonsense King of Swords, and 2 cards flipped out. And one of them is the Queen of Swords, you know, so this is the no-nonsense Queen. And it's just like, this is the person that seemed to be kind of like burdened by some sort of toxic situation that's creating some sort of imbalance. But they have some wish, you know, to get past this. And so the advice that I'm getting for this person is to just unleash your passion and just let it out, you know, because that's how you're going to get over this hump. And then for the energy of this relationship, we have the Chariot card and the Page of Cups. So to me, this implies sort of, you know, just there needs to be this taking control of this situation and just an expression of love. So perhaps there was some sort of toxic situation that was like blocking this love from unfolding. And actually this is a theme that has been unfolding on the channel for a while. And so I've tagged it as this epic love saga, and this storyline definitely resonates with that that storyline. So I would connect with that storyline if this resonates with you. But I'm going to just pull a couple cards of advice from the Sacred Traveler Oracle. But it sounds like, you know, these people might be at some sort of turning point, and that the way that they're going to break through and get, you know, past this obstacle, which seems to be some sort of toxic situation that's blocking the unfolding of this love story, is that both of these people kind of need to embrace their feelings and, you know, express them. And I don't know, it sounds like maybe let bygones be bygones, and let whatever this toxic situation is be confronted with the truth. So that's what I got on that. So as far as the sacred travel, interesting. So from the Sacred Traveler Oracle, we got fellow travelers. Support is all around you. So yeah, I think the message that I would take away from this is, you know, if you're feeling blocked or oppressed by some sort of toxic situation, and, you know, and this is holding you back, you're maybe afraid to confront it, or afraid that it might unleash some sort of drama, or, you know, and this is holding you back. I think the message that's coming through is, you know, have faith, because there's support all around you, and it's going to be okay. But don't hold yourself back, because, you know, it seems like now's the time, like the support, that you have the support of the universe to kind of move forward and let this evolve into whatever it's meant to evolve into. So take heart, you know, take control of the situation, and just let your feelings flow. And that's the advice. Have a good weekend. See you later.